ning takwane tari pewdi tojena lai aning egi juktumgi kejajik shuwachira ingene shugi. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for coming out today, and for everybody online on Facebook for viewing this public talk by Thondup Tsering, North American G2 candidate. I want to make something very clear. The next 5 years for the Tibetan movement is going to be extremely critical. The geopolitics in our world is changing. It isn't like it used to be. And this didn't start just the last few years. When it really changed was when Congressman Jim McGovern was able to introduce the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act. After the Reciprocal Access Act was introduced and passed, we saw the relationship between China and America changing. This is something that is very important to understand. The language, the way the American government was responding to the Chinese government changed. Language like sanctioning was used, something that was never used before the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act. The next 5 years is going to be extremely important for our movement. And we have this wonderful opportunity. We really do. We have this wonderful opportunity to elect a man who has already been doing this work for the last 25 years. I have been an activist here for about 15 years in Boston. And I personally think that in North America, the best candidate for the North American G2 is Thondup Tsering. For 25 years, he's had expanded activism, political action, and has empowered the youth, not just in Massachusetts, but all across North America. No matter who you choose, one thing that is really important is to take a look at what your candidate, or what each candidate has done in North America in the last 10 to 20 years. It's also important to think about how that experience is going to help your candidate do as much work for Tibet as possible. 다 티워치 가리케 정부들라나 왜쇼 몰루니엘레 티워 가리지 케 정부들라나 한주기 데라 갸가기 티도 담고 말해 유럽 티도 담고 말해 티워 케체쇼 데디르도 로장 아리 낭로라 찰린 낭도에 낭민도 디페 케 정부도 Thondup Tsering for the last 25 years has successfully lobbied the American government. I've mentioned this earlier. Massachusetts is one of only 2 Tibetan populated states to have both senators co-sponsor the Tibet Policy and Support Act. The same way, Massachusetts is one of the only 2 Tibetan populated states to have both senators co-sponsor the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act. That's extremely important information that we have to understand. And I know a lot of people have worked very hard to push these bills in Massachusetts. Nawan Nobula is here. He's been lobbying for a long time. There are many individuals in Massachusetts like Nawan Nobula and Nawan Sandola, Howard Fass, who have been lobbying not just once a year in DC, who've been lobbying year-round. And what's important to know about Thondup Tsering is that he's a result-oriented leader. He is driven by results. Before you go to the voting booth, ask yourself this question. Is your candidate a result-driven leader or not? What have they done in the last 10 to 20 years in North America? And how are they going to use that experience to amplify activism and political action in North America for Tibetans inside Tibet? I feel privileged to be here, to be able to MC this event. I've been here for the last 25 years, and since I was a little boy, I've had the opportunity to travel to Amherst. I was around 7 or 8 years old. When I was 7 to 8 years old, I witnessed Thondup Tsering working very hard for the community there. So when we think about who Thondup Tsering is, although I've said so many things about his lobbying skills, I want to make this clear. Lobbying just one part of his job. He's been the president of his Tibetan Association 3 different times. 1996, 2006, 2019. That's 3 different decades he's been the president. Everybody in this room knows, especially those who have worked for the for Tibetan associations around North America. It's a very hard job. We do it for 2-3 years, and then we take a break. Thondup Tsering has never taken a break. It's been 25 years, and he's been putting in the work. And now all he wants to do is do that on a national level, on an international level, to make sure that Tibet is the core issue. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. And despite the fears of the coronavirus, you've come here to listen to Thondup Tsering and what he has to offer for the next 5 years. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful night.